Did you know that a Western farmer has now moved to Russia? I am sitting in Moscow, Russia right now. In this show, we're going to talk to him and find out what's going on. Is he crazy? Will he survive? How many children does he have? Does Russia even have cows for him? Welcome to Expat American. I am the Expat American. This is a golden statue. Find out what's going on right now. To Russia. And he just got here, I believe. We're going to find out in a minute. And while it's fresh, while the experience is fresh, I wanted to talk to him and get his story and see what's going on, because I know that you are either a Russian who is wondering, why are Westerners coming here? Or you're a Westerner and you're thinking, do I want to move to Russia? And first off, for this guy, I want to ask what I always ask. Who are you?
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on here. I am Erin, and together with my wife, Anissa, we just recently moved here to Russia with our 8 children, sorry. We have 9, but our oldest is still back in Canada.
Okay.
And we're farmers back home, and I've been a carpenter my whole life. I hope to do the same things here.
Okay, fantastic. So you and I have been chatting for about maybe 9 months now, trying to figure out this YouTube thing together. And so it's cool to finally speak to you, but not in person. We still haven't breathed the same air, even though I feel like I know you. And I've actually never had to say your name out loud, but I'm guessing it is like Aaron, but with a D on the end. Is that right?
Yeah, the D is mostly silent. I was actually born in the Netherlands, so there we would say Arend, and the D gets pronounced. But here in Canada, nobody's ever pronounced it. So, or not here, sorry, I'm in Russia now, but in Canada, nobody's ever pronounced it. Yeah.
Fascinating. Do you have 2 citizenships already?
I am. Yeah, I was. Yep.
Wow.
I've lived in Canada for the last 35 years. So.
Okay. So talking to you, you sound like just a regular American, outdoorsman to me. But you were actually from the Netherlands and then a Canadian for a long, long time. And now you're going to be a Russian.
That is the plan, yes. Yeah. Mixing it up.
Cool. Very good. Very good. All right. So you got 2 citizenships. How did you discover Russia as a place that you might want to live in?
Oh, I'm interested in history and politics, always have been. And I just follow things. So I followed Russia a lot. It's a big country. It's a lot like Canada, obviously. And I don't remember exactly. Somewhere along the line, I started following RT News, and I found their news to be a lot less biased than Western media. And that might sound strange to some people, but they gave just the honest facts, and it wasn't an opinion piece. It was factual information. And that drew me more and more into Russian politics. The direction that this country was going really appealed to me, much better direction than Western countries. Obviously you're from the West too, so you know where we're going there. And yeah, just economically, politically, and also their move towards God. A lot of their policies are directed in a traditional Christian manner, I guess. That's what I'm seeing more and more. So it was a draw for us, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I would agree with you on that. We can talk more about that when you ask me questions. But yeah, my next question was, why Russia? And you sort of already answered that. So what I'm getting from you is it's a place more for traditional family values, is what it sounds like. Is there anything else you wanted to say on why Russia? Was it just because it meets your moral criteria?
No, there may be other countries that'll do that. I feel Russia is strong enough to defend that moral position, where a lot of other countries are not and could be easily overrun, let's say with sanctions or any other way. They bow to the Western ideologies and pressures. And I feel Russia is more immune from that. I think the last number of years have shown that as well, that they dictate their own path and don't need to follow other ways. Also, obviously, the climate is a huge thing for us. I know people who have left Canada, same reasons as we are leaving. I've gone to South American countries where it's completely different, right? Your climate zones are different, your bugs are different, your wildlife's different, people's mentality and thinking is different. And we have 4 distinct seasons in Canada, and you have the same thing here, and it creates kind of a similar mentality in all of the Northern Hemisphere, I think, where we have to work really hard during the summer and provide for winter. So there's just less adjustment. I know there's a language thing, and people keep saying that you're going to have such a hard time with language, and that is going to be hard. But on the flip side, everything else is the same. I look out the window and it just looks like home. There's no difference, right? So
Right. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What is different and what is the same? Because you've only been here for like a week, right?
that's right. Yeah.
So
No, it's
it's really
about two and
fresh
a
and
half weeks.
acute on your mind. So 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
So
roughly.
like, what's your raw impression now that you just arrived here, basically, as far as this place and how different and how the same is it?
Okay, well, and it hasn't really been long enough to form a real good opinion. And we were sick for the first week. We actually got sick in Georgia before coming here, and so the first week we were here, we really didn't see anything or go anywhere. Getting off the airport or off the airplane in Moscow, we drove here in a van. It was a beautiful sunny day, and so the countryside, it was absolutely amazing, beautiful. It was like driving at home again on a nice sunny day. So initial perception, it looks the same, other than the language. Language is huge, and all the grocery prices are very minimal here compared to back home. The people so far have been extremely friendly and helpful. Everybody goes out of their way to try, even though they don't speak the language, they try in one way or another to communicate with us. So
Mhm.
it's been great so far.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the language is the big difference. Um, so, what are your life plans for Russia? You came here with a very large family. I thought I
Yeah,
had a lot of kids with 5 kids, but you have me beat almost times two because you said you
almost.
have
Yeah,
nine, right? Not with you, but you have nine in total.
that's right. Yeah, our oldest may end up joining us yet at some point. He's 22.
Your oldest is 22. Okay. All right. Very good. My
Yes,
oldest
sir.
is
Yep.
23.
There you go. Yeah, very similar. So they have their own path, their own direction. He's not ruling Russia out. He sees why we're going, and he's very interested as well. But I mean, he's got until we get established and get something figured, it's not a priority yet, right? So yeah.
Right. All right. So, what are your future plans for Russia? For you, your wife, your children? What are you thinking is going to happen here?
Hey, well, if you've seen our last video, you notice that we moved from Saskatchewan to Ontario for better economic opportunities, and we set up a family farm there. We believe a family farm shouldn't be focused on one commodity. We see that across the board in the West anyway. Everybody specializes on one thing, and I believe a profitable family farm should be, have multiple commodities. So you're going to have a mix of different animals and grains and doing different things. So we set that up on Manitoulin Island in Ontario.
Hmm.
And we hope to set that up here again on a larger scale. We have a lot of children, so we want more land, more animals, and that also is something that's not possible in Canada. It's too expensive to buy more land. Same as the States, it's not much different. So here we will hopefully be able to afford more land and grow that same business model larger. And then we want to add a retail side to that, focus on delivering real food to real people and connecting those dots, cutting out the middle guy, and just growing a business, using our talents to make people's lives here better, hopefully create jobs and build community.
Right. Now, the argument would be people specialize because that way you can get really good at making your milk or really good at making the
Yep,
best eggs. But I guess the flip side is, well, if you have different things you're making on your farm, it's going to be better security for you and your family. Is that the idea?
that's the thing. Yeah, so that is exactly why people specialize in one thing, because you can focus more dollars and energy on one thing and do it really well. But you do have downturns in the market. So in Canada, we have a quota system for milk, which protects the dairy farmers, but we don't have that in the beef sector or in the pork sector. And you see, they're very volatile. For a couple of years they'll do really well, and then they'll have a couple of really bad years, and it's always up and down. And to protect yourself, if you had, let's say, beef and pork, usually one of the two is doing well. So while the other one's struggling, you could still be making money. And
Mm.
that's where we think being in multiple things. We've seen that also in Western Canada. We have what's called Hutterites out there. They're communities that live, all on their own. And basically, they're completely self sufficient. They have huge vegetable gardens. They have a dairy barn, a chicken barn, a beef barn, lots of different things. And I think with the right kind of management and the right people, you can still specialize in all those different industries at the same time.
Hmm.
You
Wow.
just need maybe more management, maybe. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I often ask, and sometimes it's in a joking way, but although it may be as a joke, it is a serious topic to help Westerners think, and that is Russia a scary place?
Not so far. So far, I actually feel safer. It's really strange. So we grew up on in rural environment. Of course, we're not city folks at all. So coming to a city, we feel unsafe anyway. And now, having lived in Tbilisi, Georgia, for the last 3 months prior to coming here, maybe we're more used to city life and less scared? I don't know. But we allow our children now to walk down the street and go to the store, and I would have never done that back home in Canada. And we don't worry about it because everyone's so friendly and goes out of their way to help everyone. We feel less threatened here.
Mhm.
But like I said, it might not be just because of the country. It might be also because we're more accustomed now. Like I would assume people who grow in the city in Canada probably feel comfortable with their children wandering around too. We would not.
Right.
Even little things like theft, I've noticed people don't worry about that. They just leave their bags laying there and they will wander away, and they come back and their stuff's still there.
Mhm.
I've seen that a few times too, which we would never do that back home. So,
Right.
but honestly, I've been here 2.5 weeks. I'm not really qualified to give a good opinion. I'm not scared. It feels very comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
And my family feels the same way.
I've heard that it's part of the culture that there is almost a bit of a superstition about stealing someone's stuff, and
Okay.
so that's why this is why I've heard this is why I've been led to believe you've got less stealing going on, and there's more of a trust there. And there have been several instances where I have left stuff out on accident and it has not been stolen. I even lost my wallet and my passport at a shopping mall overnight and got it all back. I left my kid's jacket, or he did, in a park overnight, and it was folded on the park bench the next day. I didn't even know that we left it.
Wow.
I was just jogging the next day, and as I'm passing by the bench, I'm like, wait a second,
Hey, that's mine.
that's my kid's jacket.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that would happen back home. You do hear the odd story where someone gets their wallet back, but it tends to be there's something missing out of it. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
How does your
it's
wife
different.
feel now that you guys have been here for a few weeks?
She's good. She's liking it as well. Yeah, like I said, we haven't been out a whole lot yet, so I mean that's going to make things different. She really wants to get out on the farm. We're not city folks. She's really looking forward to having her own piece of dirt and beginning that lifestyle where she can start cooking in a larger kitchen again and canning food and growing a garden and all the stuff that she enjoys doing.
Wow.
Right now we're kind of in tourist mode, right? We're stuck in the city and this is not our normal life.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And how
Very
about your
excited to get
kids? How
started.
are they feeling?
They love it. Yeah, I asked them actually just before coming multiple times. I guess we involve our children in all of our family decisions. Ultimately, it's for them. If it was just my wife and I, we probably would have never moved. We would just stay there. This is for their future that we're doing this, and obviously we include them in that because it is their future. So I regularly ask them, the older ones. I mean, the babies not, of course, but if they still want this. And while we're in Georgia as well, it's very simple to move to Georgia. It's easy as far as paperwork. There's no visas required. You just show up and you can stay there. And you thought, maybe we should consider this because it's so much easier. And the kids are, no, we want to go to Russia. So they're still very excited. They're outside playing outside the window here right now in the snow. And same thing, they're itching to get going on a farm. We have dreams and ambitions, and sitting stuck in an apartment cooped up is not our plan. But they're really liking it. They're playing with other Russian kids out here as well, so that's kind of neat. Every now and again, they got to come in for a translation. And, they say something, okay, and then they run back out again. But yeah, they're catching on and learning.
That is
It's neat to see how
fantastic.
resilient they are. So,
It makes me
yeah.
happy to hear it tonight, and I can definitely relate. Because I'm from
Yep.
Florida and we're still enjoying the snow. My kids are loving playing in the
Yeah, you
snow.
wouldn't have had a lot of snow there, right? So
No. So in
no.
where I'm from, small town Florida, it would be like once in 10 years you get a little dusting on the ground for maybe 45 minutes and then it's gone.
Okay.
Well, so take us through your kids. So because you have your oldest is a 22-year-old boy, and then you have take us through the genders and ages. What do you got?
Next one's a girl. She'll be turning 16 this year, and then another boy. Then a boy. He just turned 14. Although some days I think he's 18 or 19. He works like a grown man. So then I have another girl. It goes girl, boy, all the way down. So
Really? Wow.
yeah,
High
until the
five.
last
Good
one.
job, man.
Yeah.
That's
So we have
cool.
five boys, 4 girls, and so the last boy we always joke should have been a girl, I guess, because he messed up the pattern a little bit.
Oh,
And then there's another girl after him. Yeah. The youngest is she'll be turning 1 here. Better not mess up the date. Within the next month, I believe it is though. So,
wow. Very cool. Well,
I always thought it was bad. I remember my father not remembering my birthday. I don't know if he was joking or what, but I do remember that. And I thought, how could you not remember my birthday? I'm the youngest of 10 children. And now that I have, I already started forgetting them. I think around 7 or 8 children. Now I have 9. And sometimes, you get to the pharmacist or the doctor's office and they ask you for birth dates and you're like, I got to call my wife. So anyway, you can't remember
I'm
everything.
the same way, and I already have I only have 5, but I'm 49. I think around age 45, I was like, you know what, forget it. I don't need to remember all this stuff. I'm not going to.
Yep. Yep. Father of the Year award, eh? Yeah.
Where they are in our heart, that is what matters.
That's
Uh,
right. Yep.
so
Yep.
you are a fascinating person, because you've been to so many places. So you were how many years in the Netherlands?
Oh, I left there when I was 4.
When you were
Four
4.
and a half.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So you know about the Netherlands like my first child will know about America. You don't really have any memory. You were just
Yeah.
told you're from the Netherlands. So you were
Yeah. All my
raised in
extended
Canada.
family's there.
Your
Yep.
family's there.
Always in Canada.
Oh, okay.
My mother's side of the family is all in Canada. My father's side, he's got 2 sisters or so not Canada. Sorry, my mother's side is all in the Netherlands, and my father has 2 sisters in Canada, but the rest of his brothers and sisters are all in the Netherlands as well.
Do you vacation in the Netherlands, or have you been there?
I haven't been back for 23 years, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Before that, we used to go back when my grandparents were still alive. We would, or my mom's grandparents were still alive. We'd go back every 5 years for their wedding anniversary and be a big family get together, and we'd spend 2-3 weeks in the Netherlands. So I have been back 4 times, I think, something like that.
Okay. All right.
And the last time I would have been 16, I guess, would be the last time I was back there. Yeah.
How does it compare to Canada, loosely?
Well, elevation-wise, it's similar, but climate is completely different. They hardly get snow there at all anymore.
Really?
It's more wet.
Oh, wow.
Maybe the odd time they might get a bit of snow, but no, not really. It's a very wet climate, very fertile though, and lots of farming country. Other than that, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about it. I guess there's a lot of people crammed in a small area. It's a very small country, 17 million, maybe 18 million people there now.
Okay.
Canada offers a lot more room, more flexibility. As much as there is a lot more red tape and legislation in Canada now, there was a lot less, and it's still, I believe, a lot less for farmers than it is in the Netherlands. They have a lot more to contend with there, and it's probably because there's more people crammed in a small area, right? But
Right. Now, did you become a farmer because generationally that's what your family does, or is this something you discovered on your own?
no, it'd be both sides of the family for as far back as I know. Anyway, we're farmers of one sort or another. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My mother's brothers are all dairy farmers. My dad was the only dairy farmer on his side of the family. And I grew up on a cow dairy farm. Yeah.
Okay.
My wife grew up on a beef dairy, not beef dairy, on a beef farm in Canada, and together I managed a big beef feed lot early on in our marriage, about 8,000 head of cattle, and then we had our own goat dairy farm. Actually, 2 separate times. The first time didn't work out too well for us. The second time worked out very well. Um, and then we switched more to because that was specialized. After that we ended up switching more to multiple commodities rather than just one thing. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's in the blood, I guess. I got brothers farming as well. I have 6 brothers, 3 sisters, and a bunch of them are involved in agriculture as well.
And what parts of Canada were you living in?
Grew up in Southern Ontario, which is significantly warmer. Southern Ontario actually is the same latitude as Northern California. A lot of people don't realize that. You hear jokes about Americans coming up to the border with skis on the roof of their vehicle, planning on going skiing in August, and not realizing that Canada is very, very warm and we have no snow. Not that time of year, anyway.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So grew up down there. Then we ended up moving to Southern Alberta, which is in Western Canada,
Uh-huh.
and that's where I managed a feedlot out there. And then after that, we spent time in Northern Ontario. It's much cheaper, and this area here would look a lot more like Northern Ontario. It's
Okay.
similar trees, similar climate. Yeah, and then from there to Northern Saskatchewan, which is also very similar to this, and then to Manitoulin Island. That's the last place we lived, which is
Okay.
in Ontario again,
Okay.
just north of Michigan.
Okay. And what are you hoping to farm here in Russia?
I'll start with beef, but I always have dairy in my heart. I enjoy milking cows. I enjoyed milking goats. Our whole family actually really enjoyed milking goats, just because they're kind of a child-friendly animal, I suppose. But yeah, a little bit of everything. We'll have beef for sure, Angus beef cattle. Hope to have sheep, goats, pigs, chickens.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Wow.
whole kit and caboodle, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know just from knowing you, you guys in Canada, you had lots of canned goods that I guess your
yeah,
wife
yeah,
manages. And what
yeah,
are you hoping to do that as well?
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so here I think things are better, but a lot of the food grown in America is hardly safe for consumption anymore. And I can't say that with any data to back me, but it's just the way it's grown and the chemicals used to grow it, it's not healthy food for your family anymore. So my wife started learning more and more about canning and preserving our own food and different ways of preserving our food, so that we would have healthy food on the table for our children. Um, and that's kind of where that love started. So actually, our last home, we built a very large home. The pantry was 18 feet by 16 feet.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what that would be in meters. We do everything in feet. So very, very large pantry with thousands and thousands of jars of food. So
Wow.
that's why I said earlier she's looking forward to having that again. Of course, right now we're living day to day from a grocery store basically, and you're relying on someone else again.
Right. And what city are you in now?
We are in Nizhny Novgorod. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you have a car yet?
No, that is one thing that we definitely need to get looking after, a van of some kind that'll fit us all.
So you're within walking distance of where you need to go?
Yeah, there's some stores. I'm told it's more expensive. There's a Spar not too far away. Yesterday we got a Yandex and went to a larger shopping center. Did a bit of shopping there.
Right.
Not sure what's going on out there. Somebody's banging away.
Bring them on
yeah.
in. We can meet them.
Well, it's not a door; it's a window. I don't know. Somebody
Okay.
outside the building here must be banging on the building.
Pigeons.
But yeah, that was nice. We got some shopping done and stuff. With public transportation, see, that's another thing we're not used to. The island where we lived on, there was taxis, but I've never seen one or used one. We are very independent in America as a whole, I think. And if we need to go somewhere, we just jump in our own vehicle and just go and do it.
Mhm.
So to be in the city now and reliant on taxis that's totally new to us. Like I said, we spent 3 months in Georgia. That kind of eased us in. People taught us how to, get on a subway. I'd never been on a subway in my life. How to get on a public bus. I may have been on a bus once or twice in my life prior to that, and it's all fairly simple. But if you've never done it before, it's a learning curve,
Right.
especially when you're trying to herd. You're herding 8 children onto the bus with you. It's kind of like a chicken with a bunch of little chicklets in the yard, right? They're all going a different direction, and you're trying to make sure nobody gets lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I know
it's an
it.
adjustment.
I know it. So your plan is to buy a car and then start looking for property to farm on. Is that right?
Yep. So tomorrow, I guess when this airs, it'll already be done. But we do have a meeting with state government here to discuss our options as far as farming. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And yeah, we're going to need a vehicle, obviously. And then I'm itching to get out. Everything's covered in snow now. It's kind of hard to see farmland right now. Anyway, we want it to come now rather than coming in the spring. A lot of people suggested why not come in the spring when it's warmer. Um, but then we're kind of missed the boat. As farmers, we want to be here already in the spring, ideally, so that we can start farming. And so coming right now gives us an opportunity to learn the language and kind of explore villages, explore areas, meet people, shake hands, and kind of get a lot of that stuff figured out before spring. And then
Mhm.
hopefully we'll be ready to start farming. So
Wow. It's a fascinating story. And tell us the name of your YouTube channel.
Countryside Acres. Probably
Very
change it to
good.
Countryside Acres in Russia, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know what that part. It's Countryside Acres anyway.
Okay. So, guys, click the link, go to Countryside Acres, and watch his videos. He's documenting his whole journey here. He just got here. So, he's letting you know every other day just about what's going on. And you're here because you like me as well. I'm going to now be on his show. We're posting these at the same time. So, click on
Yeah.
over and learn something new about me. He's going to ask me some questions that have not been asked before. And we're going to cover the fact that you may not know this about me. I used to be a country boy, believe it or not, before you knew me. So click like, click subscribe, and then click the link for his channel and go on over and see us there right now. Thanks so much.
All right. Nice talking to you, Joe. Thanks for the interview.
You got it, man.